superintendent's report.
Yeah, I have a,
Dr.
a
Nichols?
couple of brief announcements, and then I have some important information that was gathered as a result of the county superintendent's meeting late last week. So first of all, on the good news front, our district is a Golden Bell finalist in the safety area. This Thursday, members of the safety committee representing staff in this board will be going through the verification process. Once verified, our finalist will go from like a finalist to a winner, as long as we can verify the things that everyone knows we already do. So I wanted to congratulate the board. So I hope to send a good email to you guys soon with verification for a fourth Golden Bell Award in the last 6 years.
Please
Also on,
thank the staff that took the time to write it.
I will share congratulations as well. This Friday, September 18th, we will be sending out a survey to multiple stakeholders and groups representing students, teachers, staff, and parents. We are gathering information to assist in improving our services and instructional support for all. One of the things we promised we would do is review our programs at quarter/trimester. So this survey is intended to gather information, hear what's working for folks, and if there's something that we need to tighten up or improve or provide some additional support, we hope to be able to do so. And then I have a PowerPoint that goes along with the information. So last Thursday at the county superintendent's meeting, Dr. Maggie Park was the featured speaker, and she gave us, all 14 county school districts and the county superintendent and his team, updates for the California guidelines that were recently released related to COVID-19. One of the things that she said is, based on the new guidelines and positive data trends, a door has opened for each district in the county to conduct an analysis based on the guidelines of the potential for expanding on-site student instruction and access to, or increase access to services, again, within the tight parameters that we could do so. So I wanted to speak briefly about the blueprint update, some data trends, and some potential shifts in practices in our district over the coming months. I wanted to review our strategy to be the tortoise in the parable, the tortoise and the hare. There were 3 important clarifications that I think are very important for the board and community to be aware of. I wanted to give a review on what we're currently providing at our sites in terms of student services, and a brief review of the planning that's going on behind the scenes. So first and foremost, the slide that just was put up is the tier framework from the guidelines. It's a 4-tiered, colored-based framework based on statistics in 2 particular areas where you want to move from purple to red to orange to yellow. These guidelines are the basis for the blueprint for a safer economy, which is the new guidelines title. There are 2 significant changes which open the door to expanding of on-site instruction. One is based on small group cohorts, and the second is the ability through a complicated waiver process to allow TK6 on-site instruction. The 2 statistical metrics that are being used to make these determinations are a reduction from the original 5 to 2, which are case positivity rate and new case rate per 100,000 county residents. The current status of San Joaquin County is purple. This is the worst and most restrictive tier. However, new data is coming forward, and the door is potentially opening if the data trend in a good direction continues for our county to move from the purple tier to the red tier. And if this were to happen, it would open the door for some considerations for change. So the reason why is the case positivity rate in our county has fallen over the past few weeks. It was when the original data trend line was 11.3, dropped to 9.1 dropped to 7.1% as of yesterday, Tuesday, September 15th. This is important because every Tuesday in the new system, they update the numbers. Second, the new case per 100,000 individuals has also dropped from 16.6 per 100,000 to 12.6 to 8.8 per 100,000 as of yesterday, Tuesday, September 15th. So this is on the governor's page. This is the state of California based on the 4-tier colored framework. Most of the populated areas of California are still in the purple, though some have moved into the red. To the right of the state map with all the colors is a county by county map, and the purple in the middle there is San Joaquin County, and you can see that we are still purple. One of the things that Dr. Maggie Park, the public health official in charge of COVID for the county, stated was that if the trend continue and the data continue to drop, we were getting close to the benchmark line of moving from purple to red. And it was her projection, though not a prediction, that it was possible that in October, if the data would continue down, that the purple to red move is a possibility. There is also a possibility, and we also discussed that it's possible that the positive trend could be reversed based on a holiday spike if county citizens were not practicing proper behavior around gatherings during the Labor Day weekend. We saw a spike after Memorial Day and after 4th of July. So we're looking forward to next Tuesday's data coming out, because we will be able to see if the trend continues or if some gathering misbehaviors would create an upward flow. So again, a move from purple to red is a possibility as soon as October, and we hope that there's not a holiday spike based on Labor Day weekend. So we will continue to monitor the data. Now, over the period of the last few months, I've been talking regularly about the parable around the tortoise and the hare, and that the tortoise wins the race. So what I can say now is with the new framework and improving trends in data, the dynamics in our county are changing rapidly. But we want to, as staff, recommend that we continue the tortoise approach and take a prudent and methodical look at how we can best provide instruction and education to our students in a safe manner. So yesterday we received a letter from the county and public health related to small group cohorts for K-12 and more information around TK6 waiver process. And so what I can tell you is, based on the conversation with the county SUPs late last week, is that all districts are working on small group cohorts targeted to groups of students who need additional support, K-12, in different ways, shapes, and forms, as is our district. Dr. Saylor, our Director of Special Education, will be presenting an info and discussion, the basis for our plans for cohort models to support our special education students this evening. TK6 waivers are very complicated undertakings, and it's a complicated process to get public health approval. However, each county district is looking at the waiver process from a different perspective. There are districts that are being very aggressive and going as quickly as possible towards a waiver, and there are districts that have stepped back and say, we want to wait and see the data solidify and ensure that we don't rush into something that we regret. So for the aggressive district, Dr. Park is currently accepting and approving TK6 waivers. Yesterday, 17 public or private school districts received approval for waiver applications. All but one of those waiver applications came from private or religious schools. And the basis for public health to approve that is that the new cases per 100,000 have fallen, and the case positivity has dropped to 7.1%, which is right on the precipice of moving from purple to red. The first public school district to apply for a waiver in our county is Ripon Unified, and they have chosen to move forward in that manner. Other county districts, in particular small and rural districts, have indicated they are intending to submit a waiver soon. No timeline was given to that, and the models that they plan to implement are unknown. But if approved, it seemed like the superintendents were leaning towards a hybrid model. The larger districts in our county were mixed about whether to take the course of action towards a waiver. Some were thinking about doing some targeted work, others were choosing not to do it at all, and others were thinking about designing a waiver but not implementing it until they were more confident with the safety measures and the data. So we will continue to monitor all those approved private schools and religious schools, and also keep an eye on our neighbor over here to the east, Ripon Unified, and how things go in terms of if they get a number of cases or if they have any good safety information that they can share with us. The next, I'd like to present and explain three very important clarifications that are resulting from the new guidelines and affirmed by County Public Health Dr. Maggie Park. But I also want to provide this caveat that everything here is subject to change, as all of this has changed over the last 2 weeks. So number one, within the waiver system, there was an expectation placed by the state that teachers within a waiver cohorts be tested every 2 months. And once a waiver is approved, that was the expectation and continues to be the expectations. However, a word from the state is that this expectation is likely to be eliminated in the near future. So again, the rule and expectation still exists, but it looks like it's going to be eliminated. Number two, public health clarification. Once a waiver is approved for TK6 instruction, there is no requirement that those districts or schools have to start in a hybrid model. This was originally believed to be the expectation that all schools with a waiver do the hybrid. But according to Public Health this week, the schools with waivers can have 100% of their students TK6 on campus. But this is a choice. So this was a shift in what was thought to be the expectation from the guidelines. And then the third important clarification is once school districts in red counties receive that shift from purple to red, schools can reopen in all grades without a waiver. And that was a clarification, again, that was not clear when the original guidelines came out. So again, it is possible when the county goes from purple to red that some districts might look to do a very aggressive reopening, but more information for that will come. It didn't seem that that was going to be the case by any of the districts in the conversation on Thursday, with the exception of Ripon Unified, who is looking at a TK6 model. So we will continue to monitor and plan for an eventual shift. It is inevitable that at some point that the county will have the opportunity to shift to red from purple, and we are going to continue to monitor all the actions of our local districts and follow the guidelines in public health. So what are we doing right now as a district? So currently on our school sites, we are providing in-person services to students. Some of those include one-to-one occupational therapy, one-to-one psychological services, one-to-one speech services, one-to-one student in-person testing, LPAC testing for English learners, one-to-one for younger students, small group for older students. One-to-one students who are not engaged in distance learning are being brought on campus for in-person support and inspiration, and that's being done by site. We are providing childcare for our teachers and staff, and we have approximately 50 students on our site across the district daily to support our teachers and staff's needs. And we are doing sports conditioning by each of our athletic teams. I was also informed today by the SJCOE that the special education classes that we host, they run the programs within our hosted classrooms, will resume on October 12th. This will be conducted at 5 different elementary sites for a total of 8 total classes. And our custodial class will be supporting that, following our district cleaning protocols from our logistics committee. So that is news from today. So in terms of our planning, our district team is currently not working on a waiver. we are working on presenting high-quality instruction for our distant learning models, and we are planning for different cohort groups to bring them on campus and provide them, under the guidelines, additional supports with in-person instruction. This is important to note. If we rush, one of the provisions in the guidelines is that if 3 cases of student COVID appear on a school site within a 14-day period, the school will be shut down. And a very extensive contact tracing activity will occur, and that the school won't be allowed to open until all the cases have been cleared, and we need to have a county Department of Public Health support and approval to do so. So on the one end, it seems exciting to try to get back to normal quickly. On the other end, for people that go out too quickly, there is a high likelihood that COVID cases could end up shutting down a program that started prematurely. So our approach is to be prudent. It does not make, let me say it this way, because the county passed some thresholds does not mean we should immediately rush to bring back 100% of our students or to rush into a hybrid model. Safety of students and staff must be considered, and this is a very, very important decision. So I'll hearken back to the tortoise wins the race, and we intend to continue to make recommendations to the board about being and following a prudent course. But when the county moves to red, whether that's October or somewhere months down the road, we will have some choices to make. And so, again, our position is that rushing while in purple or early placement in red is simply not a good idea. There's too many factors changing. There's too much newness and lack of clarity on the new guidelines. And even the county public health officials do not express that they have full command of all of the different nuances and expectations from the state. So the specific steps that we're looking to do under the cohort model approval in the guidelines is to start with our special education students' needs, pivot quickly to our English learners and struggling students, and prepare for the hybrid pivot for the families that did not choose LVLA or the high school online pathway. We feel that there will be a time when data consistently shows that it makes sense instructionally and in terms of our safety protocol systems. And when that comes, we will be prepared to bring a plan to the board for approval, and we will be ready to recommend a hybrid pivot when the data says it's safe. So in conclusion, staff continues to recommend that we stay the prudent course as we have been on since March and when COVID became part of our new reality. We will continue to put out information as it becomes available. We will continue to expand opportunities for on-site instruction and support for our students who need it most, and this will be done under the state guidelines and tied to our small group cohort models, which are approved in the guidelines. And finally, when the time comes and after board approval, we will shift to a hybrid model for the families who choose it, but we will do so taking the proper time and to do it well. And so, Mr. President, that is my presentation.